Hey everyone, buckle up because tonight we're diving into the wild world of politics. Don't worry, we'll keep the yelling to a minimum. Now, you might be thinking, John, aren't there enough political rants on the internet already? And you'd be right. But tonight isn't about ranting. No, tonight is about busting myths and celebrating success stories in the most unlikely of places, left-wing countries. Yes, you heard that right. Those places your grumpy uncle calls socialist nightmares. We're about to reveal the truth. So grab your thinking caps and maybe a stiff drink, because we're about to embark on a journey to the land of free healthcare, affordable education, and shockingly high levels of happiness. Who knows, you might even be tempted to pack your bags and move by the end of this. Section 2. The usual suspects debunking myths about leftist paradises. Now before we introduce you to the rock stars of the left-wing world, we need to address the misconceptions. You know the ones. Socialism equals poverty. Free healthcare means long wait times and subpar care. High taxes kill innovation. But guess what? These are just stories. Myths designed to scare you away from even considering an alternative to the status quo. Because a society can prioritize the well-being of its citizens without turning into a dystopian hellscape. So prepare to have your preconceived notions challenged and your worldview potentially flipped on its head. Get ready for a reality check, folks, because the truth about left-wing policies might just surprise you. Section 1. Nordic Nirvana. Unveiling the secrets of Scandinavia's success. Let's kick off our world tour of left-wing wonderlands with a trip to Scandinavia. These tiny countries are consistently ranked at the top in global surveys for happiness, healthcare, education, and overall quality of life. So what's their secret sauce? It's a recipe that includes strong social safety nets, universal healthcare, free education, and a commitment to work-life balance. But here's the kicker. They also have thriving economies with high levels of innovation and entrepreneurship. It seems like taking care of your citizens doesn't actually destroy capitalism. In fact, it might just make it work better for everyone. Land of the long white cloud and even longer lifespans, New Zealand's winning formula. Next stop, New Zealand. They have universal healthcare, affordable education, and a strong social safety net that ensures everyone has a fair shot at a good life. New Zealand is also a leader in environmental conservation, LGBTQ+ rights, and indigenous reconciliation. So what's their secret? They've figured out that a happy and healthy population is also a productive and innovative one. Investing in things like education, healthcare, and the environment is actually a smart economic move in the long run. Who would have thought? Section 3. Beyond the Higa digging, deeper into the Nordic model. Let's delve a little deeper into this whole Nordic model thing. It's a set of shared values and policies that prioritize social equality, economic security, and a strong role for government in providing for the needs of its citizens. We're talking free healthcare, free education, generous parental leave, strong unions, and a robust social safety net. But before you start packing your bags for Copenhagen, it's important to note that the Nordic model isn't without its critics. Some argue that the high taxes needed to fund these programs stifle innovation and discourage risk-taking. Even the most successful models have their limitations. Nobody's perfect, not even those ridiculously happy Scandinavians. Section 1. Show me the money and how they share it. Income equality in action. Time to talk about money. Or, more specifically, how these left-leaning countries manage to spread the wealth. High taxes in these countries don't equal economic ruin. In fact, they seem to be doing just fine. There's a strong correlation between income equality and overall well-being. Countries like Norway, Sweden, and Denmark consistently rank among the lowest in income inequality worldwide. They achieve this through progressive taxation, robust social safety nets, and strong labor unions. It's almost like they've figured out that a rising tide lifts all boats, not just the yachts of the super rich. Section 2. Economic indicators, crushing capitalism at its own game. How do these countries actually perform economically? Well, hold on to your hats, folks. Despite their high taxes and generous social programs, these left-wing powerhouses boast strong economies, low unemployment rates, and high levels of productivity. For example, Norway has a higher GDP per capita than the United States, while Denmark consistently ranks among the world's most competitive economies. Investing in your citizens' education, health, and well-being actually pays off in the long run. Those high taxes, they fund things like infrastructure, research and development, and social programs. It's almost like they've cracked the code to sustainable, equitable economic growth. Beyond the bottom line, Measuring what really matters, GDP and unemployment rates don't tell the whole story. What good is a strong economy if people are miserable, stressed, and overworked? That's where those other, less tangible indicators come in. These left-wing wonderlands excel in happiness, life expectancy, work-life balance, and environmental sustainability. They consistently rank at the top of global surveys for happiness, well-being, and overall quality of life. They found a way to create societies that are both prosperous and equitable, innovative and compassionate. Taking care of your citizens isn't just the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing to do. Section 1. Education, education, education. From cradle to career, it's all free. Time to talk education. But not the kind that makes you want to eat glue and stare longingly out the window. We're talking about the kind of education system that makes you excited to learn, explore, and reach your full potential. In many of these left-wing utopias, education is considered a fundamental right, not a privilege reserved for the wealthy or the lucky. From kindergarten to university, students have access to high-quality education without having to worry about crippling student debt. Imagine a world where your biggest concern in college is what to order for lunch, not how you're going to pay your tuition bill. By providing everyone with an equal opportunity to learn and grow, these countries are creating a more skilled, adaptable, and innovative workforce. Healthcare for all, a prescription for a healthier, happier society. Let's talk about healthcare. Specifically, the kind that doesn't involve declaring bankruptcy or choosing between paying rent and filling a prescription. In these left-leaning wonderlands, universal healthcare isn't a radical idea, it's just the way things are. Everyone, regardless of income or employment status, has access to affordable, quality healthcare. Many of these countries consistently rank higher than the United States in terms of overall health outcomes and patient satisfaction. Imagine a world where you can go to the doctor when you're sick without worrying about the bill. A healthier population is a more productive population, and a less stressed population is a happier population. The Happiness Index. Because who needs a BMW when you can bike to work? Now I know what you're thinking. John, all this talk about free education and healthcare sounds great, but what about happiness? These left-leaning countries consistently rank at the top of global happiness surveys. Is it the free healthcare, the affordable education, the shorter work weeks, the abundance of Higa? It's probably a combination of all of those things. These countries have figured out that there's more to life than just working yourself to death to afford things you don't have time to enjoy. They've embraced a more holistic approach to well-being, one that values time with loved ones, connection to nature, and a sense of purpose beyond the daily grind. Safety and security. Feeling the love and the low crime rates. Time to tackle a biggie: safety. Many of these left-leaning havens boast some of the lowest crime rates in the world. We're talking about places like Iceland, where you can leave your front door unlocked, and Japan, where losing your wallet is more of an inconvenience than a catastrophe. It's about creating a society where everyone feels safe, supported, and valued. A society where poverty and inequality are minimized, and everyone has access to the resources they need to thrive. A happy, healthy, and secure population is also a safe population. Silicon Vikings and startup saunas. Innovation thrives in the North. Time to shatter another myth, that high taxes and social programs stifle innovation. These countries aren't just churning out happy, healthy citizens, they're also churning out cutting-edge technology and groundbreaking ideas. Places like Finland, the birthplace of Nokia, and Sweden, home to Spotify and Skype, they invest heavily in research and development, both public and private. They have world-class universities and a culture that encourages creativity and risk-taking. Those high taxes fund a strong social safety net that allows entrepreneurs to take risks without fearing financial ruin. Estonia, we hardly knew ya, a tiny nation's digital revolution. Now let's hop on over to Estonia, a tiny Baltic nation that's making a big splash in the tech world. You might be thinking, Estonia, where's that? And that's okay, because, until recently, they were mostly known for, well, being next to Russia. But hold on to your hats, folks, because this little country is leading the charge in digital innovation. We're talking about a place where you can vote online, pay your taxes in minutes, and start a business with just a few clicks. They even have digital residency. So how did they do it? Well, after gaining independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, they decided to go all in on technology, building a digital infrastructure from the ground up. They invested heavily in education, making computer programming a mandatory subject in schools. and they created a business-friendly environment that's attracting entrepreneurs and investors from all over the world. It's like the Silicon Valley of the Baltics, but with better healthcare and less traffic. Investing in the future, where robots serve you. Coffee, and nobody fears the robot uprising, yet. Now, let's talk about the future. Specifically the future of work in a world increasingly dominated by automation and artificial intelligence. It's a topic that's causing a lot of anxiety these days, and for good reason. But guess what? Our left-leaning friends aren't panicking. In fact, they're embracing these technological advancements and figuring out ways to make them work for everyone, not just the robot overlords. Take Finland, for example. They're experimenting with a universal basic income, a guaranteed minimum income for all citizens, regardless of whether they have a job or not. The idea is that as automation disrupts traditional employment models, a basic income would provide a safety net for those who lose their jobs and allow them to pursue new opportunities. It's a radical idea, no doubt, but one that's gaining traction as the future of work becomes increasingly uncertain. Green tech, green jobs, green everything, saving the planet with leftist policies. Climate change is real, and it's not just polar bears who should be worried. Left-leaning policies are combating it, creating jobs, and boosting economies. Denmark gets over 40% of its electricity from wind power. Iceland is transitioning to 100% renewable energy. They put a price on carbon and invest in renewable energy. Incentives help reduce carbon footprints. Saving the planet and growing the economy aren't mutually exclusive. Alright folks, buckle up because we're about to enter the exciting and slightly terrifying world of artificial intelligence. Now, I know what you're thinking. John, isn't this where the robots take over and enslave humanity? And to that I say, relax. We've seen Terminator, we know how to handle a rogue AI. Plus our lefty friends have a plan, and it's not about building killer robots. They're focused on something far more radical, using AI for good. That's right, they're harnessing the power of algorithms to improve healthcare, education, and even the environment. They're investing in research and development, but not the kind that creates Skynet. Think AI-powered medical diagnoses that are faster and more accurate, personalized education programs that adapt to each student's needs, and smart grids that optimize energy consumption and reduce waste. They're even using AI to tackle climate change, developing models to predict extreme weather events and optimize renewable energy production. It's like having a super smart sidekick, but instead of fighting crime, it's fighting inequality and saving the planet. The ethics of AI, because even robots need rules and maybe a nap time. Now before you start planning your retirement to a world run by benevolent AI overlords, let's address the elephant in the algorithm ethics. Because even the smartest AI is only as good as the data it's trained on and the humans who program it. And let's be honest, we humans have a bit of a track record when it comes to bias, discrimination, and generally messing things up. That's why our left-leaning friends are taking a cautious approach to AI development, focusing on transparency, accountability, and fairness. They're implementing regulations to prevent AI from being used for malicious purposes, such as surveillance, discrimination, or the creation of autonomous weapons systems. Because seriously, haven't we learned anything from the movies? They're also investing in education and public awareness campaigns to ensure that everyone understands the potential benefits and risks of AI. Because let's be honest, the last thing we need is a bunch of robots running around making decisions based on biased data and outdated algorithms. That's a recipe for disaster, not progress. Section 3. The future is now, and it's surprisingly Scandinavian. So, what does the future hold for these trailblazers? It's looking bright. Leading in renewable energy and social innovation, embracing tech with ethics, ensuring everyone benefits, not just the privileged few, proving a just, equitable, and sustainable world is possible, through pragmatic policies. It's a breath of fresh air. Point to these shining examples. The future is now, and it's surprisingly Scandinavian. The verdict turns out, sharing is caring, and good for the economy. Well folks, there you have it. We've journeyed from Norway to New Zealand, peeking behind those radical left-wing policies, and what did we find? The boogeyman is just a dude in a comfy sweater enjoying free healthcare and affordable craft beer. Investing in people, education, and a safety net doesn't lead to economic collapse. These countries excel in happiness, technology, and economic indicators. When you take care of citizens, they're healthier, more productive, and less likely to join a mob. So next time someone says taxing the rich leads to socialist purgatory, remind them there's more than one way to build a successful society. A society that values fairness, compassion, and well-being for all, not just the top. Join the revolution, but like the peaceful Scandinavian kind. Now before you grab your pitchforks and start demanding free healthcare in the streets, though let's be honest, that wouldn't be the worst idea. Remember, this isn't about copying and pasting another country's system. It's about learning from their successes, adapting their ideas to our own unique contexts, and having honest conversations about what kind of future we want to build. Do we want a world where everyone has access to quality education and healthcare regardless of their income or zip code? A world where we invest in renewable energy, protect our environment, and create a more just and equitable society for generations to come? Well, guess what? Those aren't just pipe dreams. They're realities in many parts of the world, and they're within our reach if we're willing to fight for them. So, let's get to work, folks. Talk to your friends, family, and even that grumpy uncle who's convinced socialism is a dirty word. Share this video, hint hint, and let's start a conversation about how we can create a world that works for everyone, not just the privileged few. Because a better future is possible, but it's up to us to make it happen. And who knows, maybe one day we'll be the ones inspiring the rest of the world with our own brand of left-leaning awesomeness. Until then, stay informed, stay engaged, and most importantly, stay hopeful. The future is counting on us. Right, hello everyone and welcome. Tonight we're diving headfirst into the wonderful world of, wait for it, right-wing countries. Now, before you click away faster than a politician fleeing a scandal, hear me out. We're not here to debate the merits of left versus right. Think of this more like a deeply sarcastic travelogue. We're going on a world tour, folks, to visit some nations often held up as shining examples of right-wing governance. We're talking economic indicators, education, healthcare, the whole shebang. And because no right-wing highlight reel is complete without it, we'll also be gazing upon the gleaming chrome of their technological advancements. Buckle up, it's going to be a bumpy ride. Ah, the United States. A nation built on the unshakable belief that if you just work hard enough, you too can achieve the American dream. Just ignore the fact that the dream now requires scaling a mountain of student loan debt while dodging crippling healthcare costs. But hey, let's focus on the positives, shall we? The US boasts a powerful economy. It's the land of Amazon Prime, after all, where two-day shipping reigns supreme and next-day delivery induces a near-religious experience. Now look at that GDP growth. It's like watching a toddler hyped up on sugar, erratically bouncing off the walls of an inflatable castle. Impressive? Sure. Sustainable? Debatable. And as for that whole land of opportunity thing, well, let's just say the gap between the haves and the have-nots is wider than a canyon, and it's about as easy to cross. Let's talk healthcare, baby. Specifically, the unique brand of healthcare found in the United States, where a trip to the emergency room can leave you financially ruined. It's like playing a game of medical roulette, except the only prize is a lifetime of debt. Imagine, if you will, a system where a broken leg could cost you the equivalent of a small car. And good luck figuring out your bill, which will be longer than War and Peace and about as easy to understand. But hey, at least Americans have the freedom to choose their healthcare providers. Of course, that freedom is somewhat limited when you're too busy choosing between rent and insulin to actually afford seeing a doctor. It's enough to make you wonder if maybe, just maybe, there's a better way. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Now you might be thinking, John, with all this talk of economic disparity and terrifying healthcare, surely the American people must be utterly miserable. And to that I say, hold my beer. Because despite the odds, Americans are a resilient bunch. They'll happily grill hot dogs on their balconies to celebrate their independence, even as the metaphorical house burns down around them. They find solace in their exceptionalism, clinging to the belief that they live in the greatest country on earth despite all evidence to the contrary. It's a beautiful, delusional kind of optimism. But hey, who are we to judge? After all, we're just here to observe, analyze, and maybe, just maybe, learn a thing or two. Or, have a good laugh at the absurdity of it all. Either way, stay tuned. Next, on our whirlwind tour of right-wing havens, we find ourselves in the picturesque and enigmatic country of Switzerland. This is the land of breathtaking mountains, delicious chocolate, and of course, a healthy dose of neutrality that has defined its global image for centuries. Now, Switzerland might seem like an odd choice for this list of right-wing havens. After all, they're famous for their neutrality, their cheese, and their uncanny ability to make clocks that tell time in ways that almost defy the laws of physics. But beneath that serene alpine veneer lies a country with a fiercely capitalist economy and a deep-seated suspicion of government intervention. It's a place where free market principles thrive. Think of it as the quiet kid in class who aces all the tests while secretly running a multi-level marketing scheme on the side. Switzerland excels in education, innovation, and business. So, grab your finest fondue forks and let's delve into the world of Swiss success, shall we? From their culinary delights to their economic prowess, there's much to explore. Just try not to get too distracted by the mesmerizing ticking of those cuckoo clocks. They are a testament to Swiss precision and craftsmanship, after all. Let's talk education, shall we? Because in Switzerland, it's not just about learning your ABCs and how to yodel on key. Oh no, my friends, this is Switzerland we're talking about. They're playing 4D chess while the rest of us are struggling with Connect 4. Switzerland boasts an education system that's the envy of the world. It's like a perfectly oiled machine churning out highly skilled workers ready to conquer the global marketplace. And the best part? They manage to do it all without bankrupting their students. That's right, no crippling student loan debt here. Just a well-educated workforce ready to take on the world. Of course, some might argue that the Swiss education system is a bit too focused on churning out efficient little worker bees. But hey, at least they're well-paid worker bees, right? Now you can't talk about Switzerland without mentioning its healthcare system. It's like a finely tuned watch, except instead of gears and springs, it's powered by a complex web of mandatory insurance and private providers. And yes, you heard that right, mandatory. In Switzerland, you are legally required to have health insurance. Think of it like mandatory military service, but instead of learning how to fire a rifle, you're learning how to navigate the labyrinthine world of Swiss healthcare. But hey, at least you're guaranteed coverage, right? Of course, that coverage comes at a price. Literally. Swiss healthcare is notoriously expensive, even with mandatory insurance. So, while you might be able to afford to see a doctor when you're sick, you might have to sell a kidney to pay for the privilege. It's all about balance, right? And now, we arrive at Singapore, a place so small you could mistake it for a particularly ambitious shopping mall on a map. But don't let its diminutive size fool you, because this island nation is a technological powerhouse. Singapore is like the overachieving kid in class who aces every test, builds a working volcano for the science fair, and still finds time to teach themselves Mandarin. And honestly, who needs actual size when you're busy becoming a global hub for innovation? It's like your mother always said, it's not the size that matters, it's what you do with it. Just kidding, your mom probably didn't say that about Singapore. Or did she? Singaporeans seem to have a somewhat complicated relationship with robots, which, to be fair, is the most relatable thing about them. On one hand, they're developing cutting-edge robotics for everything from manufacturing to elder care. On the other hand, they haven't quite figured out if they want a robot uprising or not. I mean, who can blame them? It's a tough one. On the one hand, robot overlords could finally solve their chewing gum ban enforcement issue with ruthless efficiency. But on the other hand, would you really want to live in a world where a robot can tell you off for spitting out your gum? It's a slippery slope, people. A very clean, well-organized, and efficiently run slippery slope, but a slippery slope nonetheless. But in all seriousness, Singapore's commitment to technological advancement is nothing short of impressive. They're investing heavily in artificial intelligence, with the goal of becoming a world leader in AI governance and development. And honestly, if any country is prepared for the robot uprising, it's probably Singapore. Imagine a robot army, marching down the street, only to be stopped dead in their tracks by a sternly worded sign that reads, "No littering, by order of the robot overlords." It's enough to make even the most dystopian future seem strangely pleasant. Alright, strap in folks, because we're heading east to the land of the rising sun, Japan. This is a country that seamlessly blends ancient traditions with cutting-edge technology, creating a unique and fascinating culture. Now, when you think of Japan, you might think of sushi, samurai, or that terrifying Hello Kitty mascot that haunts my dreams, but there's so much more to this incredible nation than just these iconic images. But what you should also be thinking about is their economy. Japan's economic landscape is a marvel of modern efficiency and innovation. Japan is an economic powerhouse, consistently ranking among the top 3 economies globally. Their GDP growth and stock market performance are testaments to their robust financial systems. They're like the reliable friend with a solid 401k and a well-stocked emergency fund. Their financial prudence and strategic investments have made them a model for economic stability. And let's not forget their technological prowess. Japan is at the forefront of robotics and automation, constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. I mean, this is a country where vending machines dispense everything from hot ramen to used underwear. These machines are a testament to Japan's ingenuity and willingness to innovate in even the most unexpected areas. And I'm not even joking about the underwear. It's a cultural quirk, sure, but it also speaks to their incredible automation and innovation. These vending machines are just one example of how Japan integrates technology into everyday life. It's a cultural quirk, sure, but it also speaks to their incredible automation and innovation. From automated factories to advanced robotics, Japan is a leader in technological advancements. Japan's commitment to technology is woven into the fabric of their society, from their bullet trains to their robot-staffed hotels. This dedication to progress and efficiency is what makes Japan a true wonder of the modern world. Now let's talk about their education system. Japan consistently ranks highly in global education rankings with a strong emphasis on discipline, respect, and achieving academic excellence. Think of it like this. If the US education system is a free-for-all laser tag match, Japan is a perfectly choreographed ballet recital. Both have their merits, but only one involves coordinated outfits and significantly less screaming. But it's not all sunshine and high-speed rail. Japan also grapples with a shrinking population and a rigid work culture. It's a country where working yourself to death is not just a metaphor, it's a legitimate societal concern. So, while they might have a robot for everything, they haven't quite cracked the code on work-life balance. Maybe someone should invent a robot for that. Despite these challenges, Japan remains a global leader in innovation and technology. They're at the forefront of robotics, artificial intelligence, and those weird toilets that wash your bum with lasers. And let's not forget their cultural influence. From anime to manga to J-pop, Japan has a knack for exporting its unique brand of cool to the rest of the world. So, while their societal model might not be for everyone, there's no denying Japan's impact on the world stage. They're a country of contrasts, ancient traditions intertwined with futuristic technology, a workaholic culture grappling with existential anxieties. But one thing's for sure, Japan will continue to be a fascinating case study in economic success, technological innovation, and the eternal human struggle for meaning in a rapidly changing world. Hold on to your hats, folks, because we're about to dive headfirst into the world of K-pop, kimchi, and some seriously impressive economic growth. That's right, we're talking about South Korea. Now, South Korea's story is nothing short of remarkable. Just a few decades ago, they were a war-torn nation, struggling to rebuild after a devastating conflict. But fast forward to today, and they've transformed themselves into a global economic powerhouse. It's like that friend who went through a messy breakup, did a complete 180, and emerged looking like $1 million. You know, the one you secretly envy but also kind of want to high-five? That's South Korea. From tech giants like Samsung and LG to the global phenomenon that is K-pop, South Korea has cemented its place on the world stage. So how did they do it? How did South Korea become a powerhouse of education and economic success? Well, for starters, they take education very seriously. Like, really seriously. From a young age, students are taught the importance of academic achievement. South Korea boasts one of the most rigorous education systems in the world, with students often attending school for long hours, and then heading to private tutoring sessions. There's a heavy emphasis on STEM fields, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, areas that are seen as crucial for future success. And with this focus comes a whole lot of pressure to succeed. Students are constantly pushed to excel, often at the expense of their well-being. Think of it as a pressure cooker for academic excellence, where the heat is always on and there's little room for error. This intense environment is fueled by a potent blend of parental expectations, societal pressure, and a culture that equates success with academic achievement. And let's not forget the caffeine, enough to keep a small nation awake for a week. Students often rely on coffee and energy drinks to keep up with their demanding schedules. And speaking of pressure, let's talk about work-life balance, or rather, the lack thereof. The hustle doesn't stop at graduation. South Koreans work some of the longest hours in the developed world, often sacrificing personal time for professional commitments. It's not uncommon to see people working late into the night, sometimes even pulling all-nighters to meet deadlines. Many employees put in 6-day weeks, driven by a culture that values hard work and dedication above all else. While this dedication often leads to professional success and recognition, it also comes at a significant cost. Burnout is a real concern, with many workers feeling the strain of their relentless schedules. The mental and physical toll can be overwhelming, leading to a growing awareness of the need for better work-life balance. Many young South Koreans are starting to question the relentless pursuit of economic success, advocating for a more balanced and fulfilling life. But despite these challenges, there's no denying South Korea's remarkable achievements. They've gone from economic devastation to technological dominance in the blink of an eye, all while exporting their vibrant culture to the world. From their lightning-fast internet speeds, seriously, trying to stream Netflix in the US after experiencing Korean internet is like trying to download a file using 2 tin cans and a string. And then there's their dedication to innovation, with companies like Samsung and LG constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. South Korea is a country that embraces the future, and frankly, the future looks pretty damn bright. Well, there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of some of the top right-wing countries making waves on the global stage. From the economic powerhouses of Japan and South Korea, to the technological innovations of Singapore, it's clear that these countries are doing something right. Are they perfect? Of course not. No country is. But they offer valuable lessons in economic growth, technological advancement, and the power of a good work ethic. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this look at some of the top right-wing countries making a positive impact globally. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to subscribe for more insightful and entertaining content.